Hey everyone, welcome back to the table, BUCKSGEARBOX. Today we're looking at the Spyderco Yojimbo 2. This isn't really an unboxing video because I've had this for a little bit now, but I'm still going to show you what you get in the box. This is the Yojimbo 2, that is the KnifeCenter exclusive, so it has a CPM Cruwear blade. It normally comes with black G10 scales, but this has been upgraded by the previous owner. I purchased this at the River's Edge Cutlery consignment shop. And here is where you can read up on the fact that it's a KnifeCenter exclusive. A little bit about Cruwear, so pause that and read it if you want. And let's see, get the sticker, normal kind of stuff. You've got a note about knife corrosion. And yep, the typical Spyderco things here. I don't know if this originally came with anything extra. Again, I got this pre-owned. And let's look at the knife. Overall length is 7.69 inches long. The blade length is 320. The steel in this one is Cruwear. The normal steel you get is CPM S30V. Handle length is 4.49. Edge length, cutting edge, is right at 3 inches. As you can see, this is a awesome blade shape here. Normal scales, again, I think I already said this, come in black G10. This one has some aftermarket micarta, I believe. This is the Knives Plus set of scales that you can get, although I'm not sure. Compression lock, what Spyderco is known for, very cool. Totally ambidextrous with the clip, tip up, tip down, right, left carry. The grind on this blade is pretty sweet. It's a really deep looking hollow grind. Check that out. I don't know if I can get the camera to focus on that kind of a shot, but yeah, it's pretty sweet, but also has a very thick blade stock up here, which I assume they're going for strength. This one is made in the Golden, Colorado factory. I'm going to give you a little close-up on the markings on the blade. There must be no, that was a school bus. I was going to say there's construction going on outside, but that was just a school bus. This was designed by Michael Janich, who I think he still works at Spyderco, but he's a martial arts guru, self-defense guy, and he designed this knife and others that are similar to it, and I think he designed this specifically with self-defense in mind. That's not really in my wheelhouse. But it's still a really cool knife, I think, even if that's not your ball game, so to speak. I found this again at the consignment case at River's Edge Cutlery. It was obviously in really good condition, and being a Cruwear blade, I picked it up as I did not have a Yojimbo 2 yet, and I also didn't have Cruwear yet, so this is kind of a cool thing. Cruwear is a cool super steel, quote unquote, that has high edge retention and toughness, but it is not stainless. I believe it is considered semi-stainless and is a bit of an upgrade from D2, especially on that front. And people just love the stuff. It's definitely a premium knife steel. Highly recommended by like the people at Knife Steel Nerds and other review sites that I've looked at. So I'm pretty excited to have this one. The blade shape and the steel are just really, really cool. You can do a lot of different kinds of grips on this knife. You can do this if you want to. I don't know why you would. But the ergonomic handles are really sweet. I'm not sure they're going to be everyone's cup of tea. Everyone's hands are different. I have kind of long, skinny, large glove size hands, and it fits me great, perfectly, actually. This is an aftermarket Lynch clip. Of course, if you're new to the channel, I don't really care for Spyderco's pocket clips. So I change those out pretty quickly usually, and I love Lynch Northwest. Shout out to those guys. They make great stuff. But yes, the grip is very, very comfortable. It fits in my hand perfectly. I typically am going to use a blade like this. I love Wharncliffe sheepsfoot style blades for, opening boxes, opening packages. Although I have to be careful with this one because it's really, well, it's just seriously pointy, which is, Captain Obvious statement looking at the camera here. But if you're cutting into a box, it's going to be really easy to slip down a little too much and cut not just the packaging, but whatever's inside. So, that's with every knife a little bit, but with this one, maybe a little bit more care will be needed. This one has no lanyard hole, of course, except for the hole in the Lynch clip that I added to it, which I just think is interesting. Most knives today come with them, so I just thought I'd point that out. Full liners. The only jimping is right there on the thumb ramp. Let's do some size comparisons. All right, let's see here. Some of the more obvious ones for me are the Mannix 2. Line up pretty close to even there. And while we got him out, let's get another big old Spyderco. The Yojimbo 2 is not a huge knife, but I would definitely call it a full size, especially with that crazy aggressive blade. It just feels more like a big knife than a little knife for sure, but in reality, it's kind of somewhere in the middle. Let's see, let's put it up against a pair 3. So definitely a little bit bigger than the pair 3. And of course, should look at PM2. The PM2 is still quite a bit bigger than a knife. Let's do a couple more here. Don't have that many more on the table. Let's do a Benchmade Griptilian, full-size Griptilian, right about the same as one of those. So if you're familiar with that knife, you know what you're getting into. And lastly, how about a Hinder XM18? This is the skinny, and it's a little bit bigger. Cool. Definitely, to me, except for the tip, the only thing that I'd be concerned about is the tip. This feels more like a hard use, like an everyday carry, but you can use the heck out of it style knife. But if you're doing anything super crazy with it, I've seen videos online where the tips have been broken off and stuff. And I don't know, I'm not that rough on my knives, but it is definitely something to consider when you're looking at that point. It gets pretty thin down there, and in my mind, that would be the first thing to go. So again, be careful with it, right? Careful with all of my knives. So there's the size comparisons, a little bit of info. Let's talk about self-defense. That's not really a consideration for me when it comes to knives. If I were to use this for self-defense as an untrained individual in that arena, I'd probably just hurt myself. It's a very aggressive, very sharp blade, and that really flat cutting edge. I can see how this would be a good knife for self-defense. And you can see there's some videos on YouTube where the designer speaks to that very much so. That's kind of what he meant for it, and it looks like he looks at this kind of grip for that kind of purpose. So again, just not for me. However, two things stick out to me right away. Wharncliffes are extremely useful in my opinion. I love Wharncliffe and sheepsfoot style blades. Very EDC friendly. Even though this is meant for self-defense, I look at it as a great utility knife. Another thing is, for me, kind of, last thoughts here, it just looks cool. It's very unique. It's probably very divisive. Probably not everybody's cup of tea for sure, but I dig it. It looks like a Spyderco, but also looks different than most other Spydercos, which I think is pretty cool. Very unique. Has a Japanese sword aesthetic to it. To me, that's kind of a subjective thing, but I like it overall. Really dig it. Haven't carried it very much yet, so I'm going to be putting it in the pocket and trying out Cruwear, trying out the Yojimbo 2, and maybe I'll do another video in the future when I have more time. with this particular knife. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys. Have a great day.